are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome, week number 12 of the Western States Racing League. I'm Chris Murphy with my good friend Liam Ervig here in the booth with Sim Racing Media, bringing you week number 12 of this 20 race season for the Western States Racing League here at the Roval. Liam, we were here. We were at Kansas last week. A little bit of a change this week here with the first road course of the season. How you feeling about tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think we had Watkins Glen earlier in the season where Jacob Jensen was able to drive away and get the job done. Currently, he sits as the fastest driver in qualifying. We'll see if anybody can knock him off. He's hoping to go 2 for 2 on the road races this year.
There we go. Getting the overlays all set up here. They're kind of looking a little glitchy for a moment here, but always have some technical difficulties here for some reason, so we'll get this refreshed up here for you. But looking forward to tonight. So last week, like we said, we were at Kansas. Bentley Glazier picking up the win last week. Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami rounded out the podium at Kansas. Jeff Hollinsworth, Wayne Hutchison, and Ron Holyfield. Chad Stearns, Paul Kermade, Jacob Jensen. Way back, Jacob Jensen's picked up 3 wins this season, but had a little odd pitch strategy last week. Kind of cost him. Ended up finishing in 9th, and Julia Ritchie rounding out the top 10 last week. We'll bring up the point standings here for you real quick as well. As we get qualifying going, we have, let's see here. What do we got left here in qualifying? I don't have my timer up. But I do have a glitchy overlay system working here for us. This is going to work out really nice. So we'll look at the point standings from last as we come into the night. Brian Barnes at the top of the points. Him and Wayne Hutchison been battling back and forth for that top spot. Wayne Hutchison drops back a spot. Brian Barnes, Wayne Hutchison. Jacob Jensen finds himself there in third. Bob Beltrami, Julian Reach around out the top five. Then it's John Kenyon, Ryan Steele, Bentley Glazers, last week's winner. Chad Stearns, David Weaver. Going to round out the top 10 in the point standings coming into this week. Let's get some eyes on qualifying here. We've got Chad Stearns out on the racetrack in the 05. Chad's been running strong all year, Liam.
Yeah, he really has been. He's gotten himself a couple of wins. Won week number 1 in Texas. Now we're seeing this new part of the Roval with the hairpin getting into turn number 7. These guys are going to be really, really hard on the brakes. You're going to get down to about 30 miles an hour. It's going to create a weird spot getting onto the oval where they've got their tires spinning, and it might get them a little bit uncomfortable. Might get a little out of control there.
So we see Chad Stearns out here currently third. Currently third here in San Diego. But that curb looks like a cliff right there. Way it popped up the right side of the 05 truck coming through that chicane there on the back straightaway. So Chad Stearns out of Newcastle, Indiana. Gonna come across the line for one more lap. Let's see if he improves on his time. Still gonna sit there in third.
He's able to get up to second actually. It's in front of Jeff Willis with a 1:26.12. Pole time is currently Jacob Jensen with a 1:25.50.
Take a look here at Matt Sisler. I haven't seen him this season. I think the first time we've seen him this season. He has raced for the Western States Racing League before in the 93 Three Birdies Toyota Tundra. It's not it.
He's going to jump up to 4th on the board.
Nice lap there from Sisler. First outing of season 53 with the Western States Racing League. 2 more trucks here out on the racetrack. We've got just a little bit of time left to go here.
Bob Beltrami, he was quick in practice, elects not to take a qualifying lap. He's going to likely start. I mean, he's going to be starting outside the top 10.
Yeah, we've got quite a few trucks not making it out onto the racetrack for qualifying laps. Yeah, qualifying's only got about 5 seconds left to go here, so that's going to pretty much bring us to a close, I believe.
Yeah, qualifying's done now, and 10 drivers got a lap down, meaning that potentially 11 will not have a qualifying time. We should have 21 drivers ready to rock and rumble here for 44 laps at the Charlotte Roval. Anticipating these guys will only have to pit once. They'll probably do it around halfway just to minimize time on worn tires and equalize those tires out. Will we see a bit of an undercut or an overcut?
Yeah, good question. I expect it. I'm guessing what do you think the fuel range is going to be here?
I'm sure they could probably go 25 to 30, but I would imagine they're going to be looking to pit in that 20 to 25 range.
All right, so we're getting ready. We've got about less than a minute here left to go. Get drivers out on the racetrack here, onto the grid. We will quickly bring up our starting grid here.
On the pole today, we've got Jacob Jensen with Chad Stearns starting to his outside. We've got Jeff Wills and Matt Sisler making his season debut, starting outside row number 2. Wayne Hutchison and Jeff Hollingsworth make up row number 3, followed by Earl Weaver and John Kenyon, who showed pace in practice. Rounding out your top 10, David Weaver and Julian Ritchie in the number 1 Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, then we're going to get back to our trucks that did not get a qualifying lap in. Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami there in the 6th row. And 7th row is going to be Shane Jensen and Chris Walker starting outside. Inside of row number 8 is going to be Dustin Burns in the 04 and Rob Gale in the 31. Paul Cremeri and Ron Holyfield are going to round out the 9th row. We get back to row number 10, William Fletcher and James Doerr going to start in the 20th spot. And then starting in the back of the grid, our good buddy right there, Liam, Mr. Alan Bergen. He's going to start back in the 21st position all by himself. We also have a little bit of a treat for you. So we're going to have an in-car camera here. We'll jump over to where we can. Jeff Willis. You can see him down there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Got a little shot from Jeff. Little shot of Jeff from behind there. Got a nice rig there. Got a nice set of triples up there. That's a pretty nice little setup there, Liam.
Yeah, it definitely is, Matt. He's ready to rock and rumble. He's definitely dedicated to this craft, and well, I'm excited to see what he can do with all of that fancy equipment here. As we look through, it looks like 14 drivers have elected to leave the pits. 15th through 21st have elected to miss the start. This could potentially mean that they are starting the race from the pit lane. However, this could also mean that they have elected not to start. So we'll keep you posted on that as these guys work onto the oval behind this pace truck for what should be the only time today. Won't see any caution flags in this race unless there is some sort of crazy scenario that, action has to be taken. But I don't see anything like that happening.
All right, so take a look up at our pole sitter, Jacob Jensen. Jacob with 3 wins on the season. Has looked sharp in every single race this year. A little bit of bad luck here and there. Or he'd probably have 4 or 5 wins. A little shot from the... What's our shot from the chopper look like here? Did everybody else just cut through the chicane?
Yeah, I guess, if it's not, it's not going to hurt. Why not?
All right, so Jacob Jensen, Chad Stearns. They had a little bit of an incident here a couple of weeks ago. Chad Stearns ended up bringing home the win. Jacob kind of fell back in that. I think he was second in that race, but a little bit heated rivalry between the two there a couple weeks ago. We'll see how this shakes out with them on the front row as Jacob Jensen's going to bring him to the line.
Yeah, remember these guys go through the infield chicane here to start the race, so that's going to kind of stagger this start out. But Jacob Jensen leads him down with Chad Stearns to his right side. Green flag is in the air, and we are rolling in the Roval. Oh, problems already with Julian Ritchie getting sideways. It looks like they're going to be able to save it as they get down into turn number 1.
Jacob Jensen with a good start. We've seen this all year long from Jacob. He's really good on the starts, restarts, push starts, whatever it is on the initial green flag, but you can see he already put about a 3-truck gap back to Chad Stearns in second. We'll take a look back through the field. Julian Ritchie with an issue there. As you pointed out,
he got sideways off of that final corner there at the initial start. Was able to recover, keeps her straight, but not the ideal situation for him.
So it looks like
we've got 5 drivers who elected, maybe 6 drivers who elected to not start.
Yeah.
With Alan Bergen, Rob Gale, William Fletcher, Paul Cremeri, James Doerr, and Ron Holyfield.
A little unusual. So all those drivers spending some time in practice. Kind of unusual just to not make the field. Maybe some technical issues. I'm not sure. But as Jacob Jensen and Chad Stearns still are year 1 and 2, and we've seen these guys up in the front all season. And we see one more battle here today. Jacob's looking really sharp here on these opening laps.
Oh, trouble, David Weaver. He's got some damage to that truck on the right side.
Yeah, he does. We'll come back here and take a look, see if we can see what happened to David in that 16 truck. Up on the outside of Brian Barnes right here as they're heading down that back straightaway chicane. Oh,
Oh,
Beltrami kind of locks.
Beltrami gets sideways in front of him. And it looks like the 16 is going to spin in front of Ricci, and the 8 of Shane Jensen. They're both going to get a little bit of contact, but likely not a lot of damage for those trucks.
Yeah, that's going to put Bob Beltrami coming into the pit road. So a lot of damage there on the 14 Beltrami salami truck. You can see the damage on the right front as he's limping into the pits right there. We'll jump back to live
And
time.
he talked in the pre-race about how this track is never been good for him and his ego. Unfortunately, within the first couple of laps here, he's back behind the 8 ball. He's going to have some pit road work to be done and be chasing from behind.
We'll take the jump in the truck here with Jeff Willis. Started in the 3rd position, sitting back there in 4th right now. Finds himself behind the 93 of Matt Sisler. And you can see Jeff down there working that wheel.
Yeah, he carried a lot of speed into the backstretch chicane there, but that kind of backfired on him coming out. Sisler was able to get himself a strong run, get the power down, get the straighter exit. A little bit more slidey from Jeff Willis. Cost him some time on the exit. We'll see if this chicane helps him out any better. Doesn't look to have gained any time. Jacob Jensen just put down the fastest lap of the race with a 1:25.73. And I believe Justin Burns may have had himself an incident here. He's going to get away in the backstretch chicane.
We got a couple incidents, so take a look here, see what happened to Dustin Burns. We'll jump back to. Looks like
Chris Walker also had an incident as well.
Just locks it up, getting into the chicane right there. You can see it just turns it around. Fortunately, does not make any contact. We'll take a look and see what happened to Chris Walker real quick. He's up on the outside of Julian Ricci.
Remember, these guys were all kind of beating and banging, making contact. Oh, he's just going to get sideways coming up off of 4 and hard contact with that inside concrete retaining wall.
Yeah, and unfortunately also collected the number 8 of Shane Jensen in that incident. So early on here, we've got already probably a half a dozen trucks with some damage. As Bob Beltrami's still in the pits. He's been in the pits now for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, approaching 3 minutes on the repairs there for Beltrami. Might be just trying to get that truck back to pristine condition. But we will see as this race unfolds. 3 laps complete. Jacob Jensen just put down another hot lap with a 1:25.32. Chad Stearns breaks his way into the 125s with an 88.
See separation already between 1st and 2nd. Jacob Jensen almost a 2-second lead over Chad Stearns, and another about 2 seconds back to the 3rd place of Matt Sisler. So we're down to about 14 trucks already in this race. Before we started, we had 21 log in for the race, 21 run some practice laps, but only 15 take the green flag and only 14 left on the racetrack right now. Only 4 laps into this race.
And it looks like John Kenyon's closing in on Brian Barnes. He got to within half a second. Now that gap is kind of extended a little bit to about 8/10, 7/10. But John Kenyon, he was a guy that showed a lot of speed and consistency in practice. He started 8th. He continues to run 8th. And Brian Barnes actually has been working his way through the field, having started in the 11th position, the first driver to not have taken a qualifying time. Now that they've gotten out of the oval, though, he's starting to gap in front of that number 88 John Kenyon machine for FSR Motorsports.
Yeah, jump back up here to the front. You can see Chad starting. You can see the gap right there back to the 3rd and 4th place truck. It's Jeff Willis doing everything he can to reel in the 93 of Matt Sisler. And you know what, I saw a lot in practice here. You see how much those curbs are really affecting the trucks when they hit them. And what I saw a lot in practice was, especially coming out of that last corner of that chicane.
Ooh.
A little loose there for Jacob. Nice job. A little dirt track in there off the corner.
I tell you what, Jacob Jensen has been absolutely something else this year. Once he got 3 wins on the season, he's won at a short track. He's won at Sorry, I was trying to think of if Dover was considered a short track. Obviously, he got the job done in Iowa. Dover, it's a mile, so maybe we'll just put that into its own category. It's not really intermediate. But he got the job done at Watkins Glen, a 2.5-mile road course. Now here he is with about 2.5-second lead. So he gets another little bit of a slide there coming through the backstretch chicane. It's about 2.3 seconds now as they complete the 5th lap. Just a few more corners. These guys are, whatever they're doing in this team for the CAVU, I don't know if it's CAVU or CAVU, but either way, they are performing.
Take a look here at John Kenyon. Started in 8th position, doing a solid job holding on to 8th, and actually was reeling in Brian Barnes there for a little bit. But Brian looking really strong here. He's getting ready to reel in the 17 truck of Wayne Hutchison as we get ready to start lap number 7 pretty soon here.
Yeah, trying to start, try to get within the 1 second range of Wayne Hutchison right now. It's just about 1.0, now 9/10 through this particular set of corners.
Like
that's going to fluctuate a bit with different driving styles, different ways of attacking these corners. Some guys like to dive in deep. Some guys like to get a good exit. Right now, whatever Brian Barnes is doing is working, though, because he's gained 2/10 on Wayne Hutchison in this infield road course section.
Looks like we might have had another incident with Dustin Burns. We'll jump back here and take a look. Coming out of the chicane, going into turn number 1 here, it looks like might have had a little bit of an issue. Just goes in there. I think he might have looked almost like he forgot where the corner was. Braked very late right there.
Yeah, completely missed his braking zone. He's lucky that he didn't end up getting into the tires. Not the greatest start here for Dustin Burns right now, but he's finding himself learning a lot here at the Roval.
That's going to be a challenging. I was hoping to have some time to get on and make some laps here myself, but again, I think I make the same joke every week. There's a reason I'm in the booth, so.
Oh, Chris Walker's crashed again. He jumped to the pits. So after that significant contact, as you see Julian Ricci overshoot.
Sorry, I was jumping over to the replay of Walker.
No, you're good.
Looks like just kind of lost it there. Maybe that looked like a little bit of frustration there on Chris Walker's part. Kind of spun the car around.
Certainly could have been.
Yeah. Out of Venice, Florida there, just kind of loses the truck off the corner, jumps down to the pit, and I think we might see that be the end of the day for Chris Walker.
Certainly could be. Bob Beltrami has gotten back out onto the racetrack. Dustin Burns is not having the greatest of days right now. He just got lapped by your race leader, Jacob Jensen. Take a look at Julian Ricci here, though, as we have been for the last half a lap or so. And he's putting the power down hard there on the front straightaway, getting some tire spin coming out of that final chicane, Chris.
Yeah, Julian is starting to get a little bit of grip here. Had a little bit of trouble early on, but it looks like he's finding his rhythm, finding his pace. So we jump back up here. We've got a battle now for the 6th and 7th spot. Wayne Hutchison has 6th. Brian Barnes wants it. Doing everything he can to reel him in, and he has made himself with about 1 truck length behind. Where did Wayne Hutchison go?
He crashed.
Just kind of disappeared off our screen.
Yeah, the camera cut. He was there. The next camera, he was around backwards. Wayne Hutchison loses it in the backstretch chicane. Let's take a look to see what happened, and I'm sure it's going to be another case of braking too late, locking the rears up.
You can see him getting loose a little bit, getting in right there. Yep, just never does save it.
Oh, he's going to get into the wall, and Dustin Burns is in that wall, too.
Yeah, we got a parking lot right there in the middle of the chicane. Wayne Hutchison and Dustin Burns. I think Burns...
He was just waiting for an opportunity to back up, and unfortunately, Hutchison found himself in a similar position. That's going to cost Wayne 5 spots.
So, not looking like these drivers are really enjoying this fixed setup here in the trucks at the Roval. Most everybody's struggling here. You can see a lot of trucks pretty loose. So I think a setup they dialed in is already pretty loose, and you can see just about every one of these drivers have struggled with it a little bit. But Jacob Jensen and Chad Stearns are checking out from the rest of the field. Jump back here to the front.
I would like to bring up a point is that, a lot of race fans have complained, like, It seems like these cars are too easy to drive. These trucks are a little too easy to drive. We're not seeing anything that's too easy to drive for anybody, not even for your race leader, Jacob Jensen. We've seen him overcook the brakes a little bit. We've seen him slide coming up off of corners. He is not by any stretch of the means perfect in this race, but he's just doing better than everybody else is. I know that sounds pretty self-explanatory, but he's not perfect.
No, he's about
That
4 seconds.
4.5 second lead might say he's pretty good.
All right, 9 laps in, 36 laps. Actually, we're on lap number 9, so still 36 laps to go out of this 44 laps. Jacob Jensen has led every single moment. Chad Stearns in second. Take a look here at Matt Sisler. Running into the third spot. Looking to get a podium here his first time out in season 53 for the Western States Racing League. Looking really strong out there right now. We look back to fourth. We look at our in-car camera again here with Jeff Willis. Running solid, but he is finding himself about 7 seconds back right now. About 4 seconds back of that third place truck of Matt Sisler.
And it's tough, you know. It's easy to say, oh, it's early. There's only 9 laps complete. Still got 35 laps to go when you cross the start-finish line. But the gap to the race leader for Jeff Willis in fourth is 14.2 seconds. That is a lot to try to overcome if you're going to try to win this race. And, you know, these guys have their work cut out for them, definitely.
Yeah, Jacob Jensen, Chad Stearns setting on a pretty blistering pace right now for the rest of the field to try to contend with, for sure.
That last time around, he was almost a second quicker than second place Chad Stearns. 127.66 to a 128.58. However, Matt Sisler was just a hair quicker with a 128.29. Quicker than Chad Stearns, that is.
Let's see the 5 bestest. The 5 bestest. Did I say bestest? The fastest.
You did, and then you doubled down on it.
The fastest 5 best laps: Jacob Jensen, Chad Stearns, Jeff Willis, and actually Shane Jensen right there, back there in 7th with the 5th fastest time of the race so far. I think we're our biggest gainers, so we got some toys here to play with. So Brian Barnes up 6 spots, Shane Jensen as well. Alan Bergen has moved up 5 places. Oh, and I looked for this. I disappeared as soon as I said that because he's now in last.
You know, it's because he's he technically started in last. It scored him in 16th because
but now he's back in
he
last.
Was the first alphabetical name to not start the race, so it listed him as 16th, but now it's listing him back in 21st.
All right, Chad Stearns out of Newcastle, Indiana. Your second place runner. We're looking up here to the front. Jacob Jensen out of Phoenix, Arizona in the 64. Just setting a blistering pace. We're on lap number 11. I'm guessing, did we decide earlier, was this going to be a one-stop?
I believe it is. I believe these guys are going to have about 25 to 28 laps of fuel, but I think they're going to probably come in between lap 20 to 25. Some guys you might see come in as early as 20 to try to short pit, maybe gain a spot in that sense. Some guys might try to stay out, hoping that shorter time on fresh tires is going to allow them the opportunity to attack at the end. So
we found us a racer.
Through that window, we'll see some differing strategies, but yeah, like you said, you found us a race here.
Earl Weaver trying to catch the back of the Granger 88 of John Kenyon. Number 46.
Both drivers a little loose coming up off of 4.
Yeah, this is definitely getting the power down on these trucks is definitely been a challenge. You got to get it into the gas pedal, or excuse me, put the loud pedal down a little easy, or you're spinning the tires off these, especially off these sharp chicanes here. As you can see, both of them kind of, John Kenyon spun the tires a little bit, still spinning the tires.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Earl Weaver there, he tried to put the power down. He saw the mistake out of the 88 in front of him, and then unfortunately he made the same mistake, spun those tires and nosed himself up into the wall. It's going to allow Wayne Hutchison to get one of his spots back. He's up to 9th place going into the backstretch chicane. We'll see what he can do with John Kenyon in front of him.
Yeah.
A lot of what I would consider high-pressure situations are resulting in mistakes here, whether it be braking with the car behind you or trying to put the power down to the car in front of you. We're seeing these guys being put to the limit, pushed to the limit, and put to the test.
So it looks like we might have had an incident here from Bob Beltran. We'll go back and take a look at it here. See what happened to Bob. Bob involved in an earlier incident as well. It looks like it might be the exact same thing. Getting down into that back straightaway chicane, and it is exactly what happened to him earlier. Just kind of lost it entering that back chicane, got on the brakes a little hard, or downshifted too hard, one of the two. I've done that before in these trucks. When you downshift too quickly, it'll actually snap the back of the truck around, and that may be what happened there to Bob, but my guess is he probably just got brakes a little too much.
Well, Chris, that's what they're always talking about when they talk about wheel hop. You know, you're hard on the brakes, you're shifting down, and then all of a sudden your wheel is going slower and ready to stop compared to what the rest of your truck is doing. It's not as visible here on the surface, but when you're in the truck, you can feel it happen, and you can feel the absolute loss of grip because your wheels are literally bouncing off of the ground trying to get grip.
Yeah, I look at Earl Weaver's Chevrolet. It makes me hungry. Got the Tasty Cake sponsor on there in the 46. He making up a little bit of ground after that mistake a lap ago. Worked his way back up to the back of the 17 of Wayne Hutchison, trying to make another spot back up. So Earl had some struggles early on in the season, but the last couple weeks has been looking pretty good here. He's looking pretty poised right now for a top 10 finish.
He's trying to pose for a top 10 finish. As John Kenyon goes wide, shoots the chicane. That's going to allow Wayne Hutchison to get through. It might allow Earl Weaver to get right back by him as well. He does. So a costly error there for John Kenyon. He's going to end up going wide with a high-pressure situation just behind him. Jeff Wills seems to have had a problem from fourth place.
Take a look up here at Jeff. You can see him getting going there again. And that's Brian Barnes going to catch him right here as well. Make up some ground. So we'll take a look and see what happened to Jeff. Just coming down into the corner here. Coming up on that lap truck of Dustin Burns. And just like we've seen all day long, just getting on the gas. Just hitting that loud pedal just a little too hard. Loses the back of the truck as he was making his way up onto the banking.
Yeah, that's a very tight radius corner that these guys are going through. Like I said, they probably slow down to about 30, 35 mile an hour. We can get an accurate look at it the next time we get somebody going through there, but that is one of the slowest parts of the entire season.
So Jeff Willis,
you think about, I was going to say, you think about Martinsville, you're running about 60 to 70 miles an hour through the corners. Sonoma, I don't know if they do Sonoma in these trucks, but that's another flat corner that these guys got to take super slow. Jeff Willis, though, with the pressure of Brian Barnes behind him. Brian was up in the front in the point standings earlier this season. Gonna touch the grass just a little bit there. Got down to about 38 miles an hour at his slowest part of the corner. Both drivers get a little bit of wheel spin getting back onto the racetrack, and that's really something that they're going to have to worry about as this run continues on. 14 laps complete for the leader, but there's still between 6 and 10 laps from a pit stop as there's Will's getting a little bit sideways, and you can see this beautiful camera angle.
Trying to get the right side where we can see. There we go. Switching back and forth. Yeah, looking back from Jeff Willis back to Brian Barnes. I think Jeff's kind of gathered himself up after that little bit of a spin. But Brian's
able to get back. They're able to keep Brian behind him. But he lost a ton of time to the race leader. He's now 30 seconds behind Jacob Jensen, who has almost 10 seconds on Chad Stearns. Chad Stearns has about 6 seconds to Matt Sisler in third behind him, and then it's 15 seconds back to the battle you're witnessing right now on board with Brian Barnes as he closes in a little bit, coming up off of 4, going to go into 5. Once again, this is a new section here, this long sweeping turn 6. the setup for the hairpin turn 7 to get you back onto the oval. Barnes is going to try to go wide. He closes in to within about a car length, and he's going to try to undercut the corner here. Gets himself a nice tight radius coming up off. Puts the power down within half a car length coming up onto the NASCAR oval.
Yeah,
And he get himself a bit of a toe and try to outbreak him, Chris.
Yeah, you can see Brian had a better run, and exactly what he's going to do. He's going to look to the inside of Jeff right here, getting into this back chicane. Has to back off, not enough space, but Brian did a really good job coming off that corner. Kind of entered a little bit higher, which gave him a better run off, and you can see how it worked out for him. He was able to run Jeff Willis down that back straightaway into the chicane, but just not able to get up alongside and take that spot away. But Brian's got some good pace right now. I think he's a little faster than Jeff overall. If he can find a way around for that 4 spot, he might have a chance to catch Matt Sisler.
He certainly might. He's been putting down some pretty good laps, Brian Barnes has. Obviously, that last one with the battle here with Willis is not going to be the greatest, as you see Julian Ritchie get out of the way. Brian Barnes, once again, they get through 2 into the 3 and 4 complex here now. Using a little bit of that runoff area, not a whole heck of a lot, but he's going to get himself that nice run coming up off of turn number 4. Into 5 once again, and this is going to be a really cool angle from this chopper cam. You can see this wide sweeper that is turn 6 compared to what we used to have. It was a little bit tighter with another left hook coming after it for turn 7 and then into turn 8 to get out of the oval. Look at how close Barnes was able to get coming up off of turn 7 onto the oval. It's half a car length. He's looking low, and it looks like Wills is just going to give him the space here. Brian Barnes moves on into 4th position. He's clear coming up off of NASCAR 2.
Yeah, you can just Brian just was getting off that corner 7 just so much better than Jeff the last couple of laps, and it just finally paid off for him. Jeff trying to make a run back on him here, but I think Brian Barnes is going to hold on to this 4th spot. Going to start to drive away just a little bit, and he's got his work cut out for him if he's going to make up any ground to Matt. But he's got about 17 seconds, so we'll see. Maybe some different pit strategy or something here might pay out for him, but if he wants to find himself on the podium again for another week. Our current point leader, Brian Barnes, sitting in 4th place right now.
Yeah, I feel a little dumb because I said that, Jacob Jensen with a problem. Jacob Jensen has a problem. It said Jacob Jensen crashed, so maybe he just went wide there, but...
Yeah, we'll take a look. He did lose some ground.
I got a big alert.
Yeah, it's still about 10-second gap, so fortunately he had a big lead there. We'll take a look and see what happened here. We'll jump back. Where are we at on the racetrack here? It's just coming up out of through 6 and 7, back up onto the high bank. Yeah, we'll make this turn off of 7, up onto the banking.
Did he just slow down enough as to where the alert said he crashed?
I think that might be
exactly what happened.
Yep. No incident there from him, but we did have an incident here. We'll take a look back, or we'll kind of scroll back through these incidents and look at what we can. We got Jeff Hollinsworth here. This was a couple of laps ago. See what happened here to Jeff. He's got Shane Jensen here behind him. Is Shane going to get involved in another incident here? Or... It looks like our event. It looks like our events are just guys are slowing down and telling us they crashed here. So we'll see here.
Yeah, that might be something a little bit new. These guys are on worn tires. They have to slow down more than they've had to before. Let's just take a look at what Richie's speed looks like here. As he's 140 into this corner. I'm sorry there. That's not a live shot.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It's just because he slowed down.
All right, we'll jump back here to Jacob Jensen with an 11-second lead over Chad Stearns.
Matt Sisler's closed the gap. It's 3.5 between 2nd and 3rd now.
Yeah, Sisler looking really good. You can see Chad Stearns just kind of disappearing out of the camera view.
As a matter of fact, Matt Sisler was the quickest truck on the track that last time around. 1:28.46. Second fastest was Brian Barnes with a 1:28.49. Your race leader, he ran a 1:29.10.
Most of the field pretty well separated out here. Sisler trying to work up onto the back of Chad Stearns. I think, let me see, we're 26 laps into this race. I'm guessing they're probably going to try to go to halfway, so we're about 4 laps away from any pit stops. You can see Bob Beltrami up there, a lap down, another lap down here. He struggled, found himself in the pits with a long stop earlier. Take a look here at Bob.
Yeah.
Back out on the racetrack, got it repaired best he can. Chad Stearns puts him another lap down.
However, he was able to get around Chris Walker. That's a couple of very valuable points throughout the course of this season. You know, we always talk about drop weeks as a potential throughout the course of this year, but you want to try to limit the damage as much as you possibly can. So maybe if there's a week that you just miss entirely, you've got an event, whether, you know, whatever you've got, family stuff or unexpected anything, you've got that drop week to use. You know, you don't really want to have to use it on a 15th place.
Yeah, we take a look at the number 88 Ford F-150 Granger sponsored John Kenyon here. Trying to catch back up to Earl Weaver as they put another lap down on the 04 truck of Dustin Burns. Dustin's not been his favorite racetrack here today. Been involved in a lot of incidents. You can see right there. You can see John spinning the tires one more time there.
Yeah, these tires are cooked. These guys are almost 4 seconds per lap slower than what they were putting down on laps 2 and 3. 19 laps complete for your leader. We're working lap number 20, and I would say this is probably where... Oh, John Kenyon goes off a little bit there. Keeps it out of the wall, but costs him some time. I would say we are probably just at the very beginning of the pit window.
Yeah, the Roval has
I'm anticipating a lot of them around 22, 23. But if somebody wants to short pit, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, the Roval has not been kind to many a driver here tonight.
Then here comes Jeff Wills, right on schedule.
Jeff Wills going to find his way into the pit.
Remember, he spun out earlier, so his tires could have taken some damage from that. Definitely seemed like he was able to keep them rotating, so there shouldn't be any flat spots, but that's a lot of heat and a lot to take off of those tires.
Let's see if Jeff's got some assistance there in the sim rig. Maybe catch a little drink real quick while he's in the pits. Takes his hands off the wheel, rests a little bit, looks around. You can see the pit.
And I love that we can do this.
Yeah, the pit crew moving around to the left side. So Jeff definitely taking 4 tires on. Kind of a pretty long stop here. I don't think he had any damage to repair, but I would have thought if it was just a normal 4-tire stop, they'd be done. But he's actually taking some repairs. We'll jump back out onto the racetrack so you can see Jeff kind of hang his head there in a little bit of frustration as he still sits in the pits. Unfortunate for Jeff, he was running right up there in the top 3, top 4 all day long here.
Yeah, really good effort out of Jeff. Like I said, he did have that spin earlier, but he was recovering nicely.
Maybe he had it wouldn't have had a penalty. It would have been a pass through or something. So I'm not sure what's going on there. We don't have.
If he was too fast on entry, then that could have done it.
Yeah, we just don't have anything.
And
oh, wait a minute. He did have a. Yeah, I'm seeing it on my other control center here. He did have a black. Entering. He had a black flag, but it's not telling me what it was for.
I would anticipate it be too fast entering because if you are, it's like a 26-second penalty that it gives you for speeding. I don't know why that's the number they chose, and if you go more 26? Than 5 or 10 over, it's 40 for excessive speeding. But with a 55-second pit stop, I tell you what, man, that could have been a 40.
Yeah, it was a long.
Kenyon's into the pit.
A long stop for Jeff. So unfortunately, he had a shot at the podium here, but I think that's going to erase that shot for him here, as we've only got 24 laps left to go in this race. As we take a look at Matt Sisler one more time, still trying to. He's made up about a second on Chad Stearns now, about 2.5 seconds.
Stearns is coming into the pits.
Yeah, Stearns is going to come into pits.
Matt Sisler stays out. He's going to gain second spot. He is 14.3 seconds behind your race leader. Last couple of laps, though, he's been a few tenths quicker. I don't think it's going to be enough to be able to gain 14 seconds in the race throughout the course of 22 laps, but maybe if he can short pit him and use that set of tires to his advantage. Might be able to get him on the long run, but Jacob Jensen has been virtually flawless. The only flaw has been in our timing and scoring, saying that he crashed, when in reality, he just had a little bit worse of a corner than he's had usually.
So let's see. We still have 14 trucks on the racetrack. Not a great car count for the Western States Racing League here tonight. Usually last week, the last couple weeks we had 24, 25 trucks, 21 drivers showing up tonight, but only 15 taking the green flag.
Well, here's another thing to consider, Chris. I did mention those drop weeks. What are the odds some of these guys came up in here and just said no?
Good
Like,
chance.
I have a drop week,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm gonna have a finger licking good time here, Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, most of those guys.
So
Yeah, most of those guys I'm seeing down there that didn't take the green flag, aren't really anywhere up in the point standings. So I wouldn't think. I don't know. You could be right there, but maybe Paul Cremeri is about the only one that's really been around enough races to find himself in a points battle. As Matt Sisser's going to come in, well, he's going to try to undercut Jacob Jensen here, and you can see Jacob's
a
little bit of wiggle right there as well. We've seen Jacob a lot this year struggle on these longer runs, and you can see him here one more time. He's kind of losing the back of that truck a little bit more than he was earlier.
yeah, I mean, when you're on 22 lap old tires, it's bound to happen. He's running 4 seconds slower than what he was at the beginning stanza of this race. He slows all the way down to 22 miles an hour at the braking zone. That's 15 miles an hour slower than these guys were hitting just 10, 15 laps ago.
All right, well, we're about halfway through this race. Pit stops are underway. We're going to jump away and take just a really quick commercial. And we're going to keep an eye on the action, so if anything happens, we'll jump back over. But we'll be right back.
Back live here at the Charlotte Roval in the Western States Racing League, round number 12 out of 20 here in season number 53. You haven't missed a whole lot. Jacob Jensen was able to come in, make a pit stop, hold on to the lead. Chad Stearns got around Matt Sisler for second. Sisler within 3 seconds, he lost 3 seconds to Chad Stearns through the pit cycle, and he is now 6 seconds behind. Chad was able to gain about 6 seconds by pitting 2 laps earlier than Jacob Jensen. That gap now sits at 8.5 and is right now starting to falter a little bit.
Yeah, and we've seen it. We've seen in some other races of the year, throughout the rest of the year. Chad Stearns is a little bit better on the longer runs. Seems to be a little better at conserving tires than Jacob is. So we'll see how this shakes out. But 8 seconds is just going to be a lot to make up here in 19 laps. But like you mentioned, Matt Sisler sitting there in third. First race we've seen him here in this season here of the Western States Racing League, putting on a good showing. Looks like he's in good shape here to bring home his first podium of the season. Brian Barnes, your point leader, sitting back here in fourth.
Yeah, Barnes doing everything he needs to do to keep that points lead. I mentioned earlier that earlier in the season, he was doing pretty good in the points. He still is, if you haven't noticed. He is your points leader, doing a good job. Julian Ritchie has crashed in the backstretch chicane.
Yeah, we just see him
right near your leader, Jacob Jensen.
Yeah, I just flipped over to the camera right there, just seen him gather himself up. Dustin Burns with a couple more incidents as well. So Dustin Burns, long day, just getting longer in that 04 truck.
This is a really difficult track to run. I mean, you've got a little bit of elevation change in the infield. You've got a wide variety of medium speed, high speed, and a couple of very slow corners. Like, what do you want to set your truck up for? Obviously, it's a fixed setup race, but what do you want to attack? Do you want to attack these sweepers like we're about to see these guys go through, these medium speed kind of sweepers? Do you want to attack the hairpin that we're about to see, or do you want to take the
You know, if you can get my guess is if you can set the truck up for the tighter turns, you know, you can find some speed in the medium to high speed corners. If you can find a way to get through a corner like here, come off of 7 right here up onto the banking. If you can find a way to gain a little speed getting through that corner, in comparison to the trucks around you, you're going to make up a lot of ground throughout the day. As you see, John Kenyon actually got off of that corner just a little bit better than Earl Weaver, but Earl's starting to got a little bit of a slipstream here as they're heading down to that chicane on the back straightaway. One of my favorite camera angles right here, as you can see him coming into the chicane. One more time, in second place truck there, Chad Stearns loose off of it right there.
Yeah, big moment there as he's right behind a couple of trucks. This guy's racing for, I believe it's Weaver and Kenyon, yeah, just racing right in front of your second place machine, and he's not happy to see this. He has already lost almost 3 seconds to the race leader while battling behind these guys. Takes away their clean air. It takes away the ability to attack corners the way that you want when you've got this traffic around you. He's able to get around Weaver now. He's looking towards Kenyon. You can see he's really wrestling that car. He had a quick jerk to the left side with the steering. Slow to get onto the throttle there coming out of 4. And Kenyon, on the opposite end of the spectrum in front of him. He's pushing the pedal to the metal. You can see him slipping and sliding. A little bit of a slip there out of Chad Stearns, but look at Kenyon. He's catching it in the middle of the corner. He goes wide on entry, as does Chad Stearns. He has to correct just a little bit. John Kenyon has a nice run coming out of the corner, but he is going to be a lap down to Chad Stearns here. Chad struggled to get it up into 4th gear as we ride on board with him, trying to get around this lap car. This is a really cool way to see what these guys are battling, what these guys are overcoming through each corner of this Charlotte Roval. I've personally not been a big fan of it until I was able to drive it on this service with iRacing, and the challenge that it brings for these guys, it is unique. Gonna see him try to go a little bit wide, getting into the final chicane.
Yeah, Chad
Still not
Stearns.
quite able to get
Uh,
to
oh, you can see that
John
lap truck.
Kenyon there, but Kenyon
Yeah,
goes wide.
yeah.
This is not for position. Stearns is now able to get side by side with Kenyon. Kenyon doesn't want to let him go though.
No, Kenyon's fighting him for that spot. Chad Stearns, that is going to cost his. I mean, he's 14 seconds now behind Jacob Jensen. He was what, 8 seconds after that pit stop.
Yeah, he got it down to about 7.9. And the other significant factor of that is now Matt Sisler is within 4 seconds of Chad Stearns. So Sisler looking to potentially take away that second spot. Stearns is now going to have another lap truck to deal with. The Sisler he's going to get blocked in by John Kenyon.
Yeah, he catches
Earl
these
Weaver
trucks at the
able to get
wrong
around
time.
Kenyon.
You got Earl Weaver and Kenyon fighting for position now, but Sisler, is Kenyon going to move over and let him have this inside line going into the chicane? Looks like he's kind of fighting for it. Kenyon not just going to move over and get out of the way, so Sisler had made up that ground, like you said, on Chad Stearns, but getting caught behind these two lap trucks, I think, is really going to cost his chance to make up any ground. As he takes a little shortcut, but now they're 3 wide.
Yeah, I wonder if Weaver was maybe trying to do a nice thing and get the 93 past him, and John Kenyon took that opportunity to get by him. That was a pass for position between John Kenyon and Earl Weaver. Oh my goodness, look at the 88 on 2 wheels. He's going to lose that position, or at least go side by side as they get into turn number 1. Earl Weaver says, I don't like this entry. I'm going to back up.
Yeah. He had a good. Kenyon hit that curb hard. We've seen that happen to quite a few drivers today. Really upset the truck. I let Weaver get back around him, but then Kenyon finds his way around one more time. So a good battle here for 9th and 10th, but let's see. Sisler wasn't able to clear those 2 lap trucks a little bit faster than Stearns was. So now just about 3.5 seconds back of the 2nd place truck. 15 laps left to go in this race. I'm Chris
Matt Sisler. He's a driver that I've known. I've raced against before. I've seen him in a couple of different leagues. I'm not super huge on leagues, but he's been around. I'm not sure if he saw one of the sim racing media broadcasts and reached out to me that way, but he did reach out. I knew a good place to race. What better place than the Western States? These guys, week in and week out, put on amazing shows. Whether it be a caution-free race at Dover, a track that you really don't expect it, as Weaver's got himself a run on John Kenyon once again, doesn't make it. These guys put on amazing shows anywhere they go. How could you not have fun with this group?
Yeah, both these drivers here are struggling a little bit. You can see Kenyon breaking early into the chicane, Weaver running all over the back of him. But you can see Kenyon and Weaver. You're going to see one of them. Yep, see Kenyon get a little bit loose there one more time. As he comes across the start-finish line. That should get Weaver a better run into turn number 1, but actually Weaver kind of backs off a little bit. Gives John Kenyon some space. This is the best battle we have on the racetrack right now.
Kenyon went a little bit wide. Had to let off of the gas a little bit. Now Weaver's within those legs once again. Half a truck width lower, or more towards the right, to the inside of those curves as they sit behind the big screen. John Kenyon's going to cover that line. Weaver's going to say this isn't, he's maybe saying this is not a good passing zone, but Kenyon touches the grass there, something that more iRacers should do. Earl Weaver tried to get himself a nice run getting into turn 7.
Get out and touch the grass? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yes. I spent too much time on this game.
Oh, I see what you mean. I mean, actually get out of the sim.
Yeah. Like, I need to get off the sim and go touch some grass. I might not be the only one. But I'm not about to group iRacers into a thing and not be involved. Huh?
Yeah, you got to throw yourself under there if you're going to throw the whole community under the bus at the same time. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have an incident with John Kenyon, or is yeah, he's falling way back here, so something happened to John Kenyon in that 88 truck. Let's see if we can take a look here. It's always what happens. You take your eyes off of it and something happens. So battling here with Earl Weaver.
Oh, it looks like he's he locks up.
Yeah, just missed
so
the corner.
He's got to come to.
And he's got to have a slowdown.
It's not like the NASCAR series where you've got to come to a complete stop and then you're just good. He's still got to attempt to make that corner so that the more track distance you cut, the more significant your penalty's going to be. So by him going slower and getting back out of the track, he prevented himself from having a slowdown penalty at one of the fastest parts of the track.
All right, we're going to jump up here to the second and third. So Matt Sisler reeling in that second place truck of Chad Stearns. Chad's won three races here this season with the Western States Racing League. Matt Sisler reeling him in down to about just a little over a 2-second gap now between second and third. Are we supposed to give? I guess we better give Jacob just a little bit of screen time. You know,
we kind of did that to him in his first win. You know, we were sitting here talking about everything else because he was just so far away from the rest of the battles, and that is the same case here today. He's 17 seconds out front in this race. The closest battle that he has been to has been lapped trucks trying to not get lapped.
I'll take a look at our
most
lap
of them
leaders here. Jacob Jensen. That's not right because I had to reset my overlay. So unfortunately, when I do that, I lose all my stats. But Jacob Jensen's led most of this race. I think he might have.
I don't think he lost the lead when he pitted.
You don't think so?
I think he stayed out. He stayed out longer than Sisler and Stearns, and Barnes never got around him. I don't think.
Oh, you're right. He has led all 32 laps of this race.
I think he was one of the last guys to come into pit. So yeah, we were on commercial at that point too, as we had to pay some bills. Yeah, Chad Stearns really seems to struggle at the end of this infield road course part. Oh, he gets sideways coming up off a 7. That's going to cost him some time, as now it's 1.3 seconds between Sisler and Stearns, and that is dropping.
Yeah, we can take a look here. They come down to the chicane. You can see the gap right there. Here comes the 05 of Chad Stearns and the 93 of Matt Sisler right there behind him.
Both of them got a lot of curb there. Sisler trying to bring it down. It's almost a second now. 1.1 getting into NASCAR 3 and 4. Another opportunity here to cut some time as they come off of the banking. This is the famous spot where Jimmy Johnson spun out going for his last win. Awarded Ryan Blaney the victory. So what kind of craziness could we see here today? You never know until it's over.
All right, I'm Chris Murphy with Liam Ervig here in the booth. Sim Racing Media bringing you the Western States Racing League Season 53, race number 12 of 20. If you're here for the first time watching us, hit that subscribe button. If you have a league race you want to get covered, reach out to us somewhere, send us a message. Look for us on simracingmedia.com. Reach out, we'll get you. We've got plenty of producers, commentators. We get your league covered somehow. But if you got something you want to get taken care of, we're here for you. So Western States Racing League, and one more time, Chad Stearns struggles again out of that chicane. That's let Matt Sisler. It's now half a second gap here between second and third. You know, is Chad just seeing that black 93 filling up the mirror and just making a few mistakes here, or you think he's just kind of worn those tires out, Liam?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. I had mentioned just a couple of laps ago that it seemed like Chad was losing most of his time at the end of the infield road course. And with these last couple of laps with both of these trucks together, we can see why. He's just getting a poor turn 7. I'm not sure if he's overcooking it or if he's undercooking it. He's definitely getting onto the gas a little bit too hard coming out of turn 7 on the banking. That costs him time all throughout the straightaway, all throughout turns 1 and 2. So it's tough. You know, that is one of the worst corners to make a mistake in throughout the whole lap, because you lose so much time, A, through the corner, but B, because of the long corners and the straightaway that follows.
Yeah, look at from inside the truck here with Matt Sisler. He is definitely filling up that rearview mirror at Chad Stearns, as he is right there. I think Matt looks a little more consistent. I think I'm going to predict it here real quick. I think we're going to see Chad Stearns slip off of turn 7 here, and Sisler's going to have a good run on him.
Yeah, he runs wide. He gets out of the throttle, slips a little bit, but Sisler doesn't get as strong of a run. It's about a car length now, and Chad Stearns actually extending it out a little bit more, coming up off of turn 2 for NASCAR. Much better backstretch chicane for Sisler, though. He's going to have himself a run. Does he get down to the inside? Stearns closes the door on him, but now he's going to be able to try to set himself up into this final chicane as Stearns slides up, gets back down to the bottom. Who's going to outbrake who? I tell you what, man, this 93 is trying to outbrake, but there's just nowhere to go in that corner. You've got to be able to really establish your position if you're going to make the pass in that corner.
Matt Sisler closes up on the back bumper. Chad Stearns, 9 laps left to go. I don't think Chad's going to hold him off here for 9 more laps.
I mean, it's a tough ask. He is much closer than he's been all race. However, I'm seeing Chad run these corners that he's made mistakes in just a little bit better.
And as you say that, he gets a little bit loose one more time. Heading down through here, through turns 6 and 7 again one more time. Back up onto the bank. And if he needs to get out of this corner clean and not lose any momentum up onto turns 1 and 2 of the high banks here. And again, he's loose one more time.
Sisler was able to get the power down, get down to the inside. He's got the shorter run through the banked corner, but Stearns is going to be able to get himself clear again coming up off. What do? Getting into this heavy break stretch chicane. These guys are actually racing each other incredibly smart and phenomenally. They're not losing a whole heck of a lot of time, but they're not making low percentage moves. As now you see Sisler gets a little bit loose on the power. That's going to cost him some time.
Yeah, that cost him about 6 truck lengths right there. But he closes it in heading into this final chicane through turn 17. As they're going to come across the stripe. 8 laps left to go for this battle here for second and third with Chad Stearns and Matt Sisler.
And they are 20.5 seconds behind Jacob Jensen.
Oh, Jacob Jensen's still in this race? Oh, yeah, there he is.
No, he hasn't won it yet. He's doing a very good job. Shane Jensen, by the way, I believe is his father. Shane Jensen is running in 5th place. He might have just had himself a little incident.
You know,
or it might have. No, it looks like it was just the turn 7 thing again.
It has been,
but Shane Jensen doing really good in that 8.
Yeah, we've been pretty focused on that battle for second and third there for so long. I didn't notice that Shane had crawled up into the top 5. Started back in 16th. Was involved in a couple incidents early that were really, he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. None of his doing. So this could be one of the best runs for Shane all season if he holds on to this 5th position right now.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go to get to Brian Barnes in front of him. 35 seconds on track. Jeff Hollingsworth is 9 seconds, 8.5 seconds behind him. And here goes Matt Sisler for the pass for second. Stearns is going to try to get himself a run coming up off of the chicane. Sisler blocks down, holds the inside lane. Stearns has a little bit more momentum. Does this establish him the run into the chicane? He's going to try it. And he's going to take it back. Not take back the position, but take back the send. He lost a ton of time there through that final chicane, and I tell you what, it's a good thing we're doing this in visual and not for radio, because I would have confused a lot of people with that.
Well, we kind of missed the start. I'm going to jump back here real quick and see exactly what happened on that pass, because we missed the initial pass here. As you can see, Sisler just gets a much better angle and a run off of that number 7 corner up onto the banking. We've seen Chad Stearns struggle there for the last 4 or 5 laps getting off that corner, and he wiggled one more time. And that let Sisler get up alongside of him and have that inside line heading down into the chicane here on the back straightaway. And that was that pass for second place. So this battle's been going back and forth for about the last 5 or 6 laps, and Sisler is going to take that second position away.
I think it's been going Sisler's way since they got off the pit lane. I mean, Chad Stearns got held up by traffic. Was able to cut down about half of that lead, or half of the gap between the 93 and the 05. Then when it came to racing, he just bided his time. He stayed patient, but he stayed diligent. Kept the pressure on, but he didn't put his nose into a low percentage situation. Ended up getting second place, and Matt Sisler, in his season debut, definitely not series debut, is doing phenomenal, second place.
Take a look here at Shane Jensen now. Hold on to that 5th spot. Gets a little bit loose right there. As he
Ricci
gets
gets
around,
out of his way.
yeah, gets around the lap truck of Julian Ricci. And it looks like looks like Ricci has not had a good day today either. We'll take a look at our in-car camera here of Jeff Wills. We haven't jumped in with him for a while. He's
Well,
falling back
Jensen
to
had
8th.
himself a bad 7. It cost him about a second. Not that I think that's going to make the biggest difference at this stage in the game. We've got less than 10 to go. We're approaching 5 laps to go when Jensen crosses the start-finish line.
And it looks like we've got a... What happened here to Jensen? It shows him with a crash. I'm guessing he just got off the corner slow like we saw earlier.
Now, I think he went really wide in the corner. I think he had a bad corner.
You see him get on the brakes hard going to the 7. He's got Joey
Oh,
Ricci.
yeah, you see Ricci. He gets a little off of the unpainted surface. He gets out of the paint. And, I mean, he gets away okay, but not the corner that you want to have, and it did cost him about a second and a half.
Oh, jump back here to our Auburn Hills, Michigan driver Matt Sisler sitting in second. You can see Chad Stern still lurking in the background. Only about 6 truck lengths behind here. Sisler makes any small error. I think Stearns is going to be all over him. We have 5 laps left to go in this race. Jacob Jensen, Matt Sisler, Chad Stearns, Brian Barnes, and Shane Jensen. The Jensens are going to bring home 2 of the top 5 spots if it finishes the way they are. Wayne Hutchison back there in 6th. Jeff Hollinsworth, Jeff Wills, Earl Weaver, and John Kenyon rounding out the top 10. And then we have David Weaver, Julian Ricci, Bob Beltrami, and Dustin Burns, the only 14 trucks left on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, we've had 6 did not start, starting with Rob Gall, Paul Cromray, William Fletcher, James Dewar, Ron Holyfield, and Alan Bergen. The only DNF did not finish was Chris Walker, who went out after 5 laps completed. And I've got to say, I know Jensen doesn't really need to push anything right now, but he is losing a ton of time. It's about 2 seconds this lap. 4 laps to go as he crosses the start-finish line. I mean, he's really just probably trying to take it super easy.
Is there a little bit of damage on the left front of that truck? It looked like that left front fender was pushed in a little bit there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the angle I'm looking at it, but...
Yeah, I don't...
Oh, that didn't help. Hey, you can see Jacob just fighting that truck one more, just loose, just fighting those loose conditions, getting off the corner. It's just delicate. You got to be delicate on the throttle, getting off the corners here on these trucks. You know, you don't have a lot of rear weight in them, and it's really easy to spin the tires, and we've seen that all day long. And you can see even Jacob spinning the tires there again off for 7, as we've seen so many drivers do all day long. Take a look here at Chad Stearns in 3rd. He's fallen about 3 seconds back from Matt Sisler now.
Still a good day for Chad, though. I mean, he's won a couple of races this season. He's trying to get himself established up in this points fight. 3rd place is not something to hang your head about.
Definitely not. Chad's usually, you know, if he doesn't have to get involved in any kind of an incident, he's usually going to find his way somewhere around, sniffing around the podium. We've seen it all year long. Brian Burns, your point leader, back here in 4th, but his nearest rival in the point standings is Wayne Hutchison back there in 6th, but Jacob Jensen in 3rd. We see Dustin Burns off the track one more time. He's over there. He's taking your advice, sir, Liam. He's going to be out in the grass for a little while.
It's not what I meant. Although, if he's a Vegas Golden Knights fan, there's probably not a whole heck of a lot of grass to see out in the desert.
And we can see Jacob Jensen here getting ready to put a lap on his dad, Shane Jensen. I'm assuming Shane will just move out of the way here and not give him any fight. But again, Jacob, in 19 seconds to the 2nd place driver with only 3 laps left to go. He could probably just about spin around right now and still hold on to the lead. But we're not wishing that on him by any means.
You know, I wonder if there's any ability for Shane and Jacob to talk right now, if they want to be like, hey man, You want to just lap me so I don't have to run around again? Or maybe vice versa. I don't want to finish a lap down.
I have a feeling they're just yelling across the house.
If it's anything like my family, there's a lot of that, yeah.
We look at Wayne Hutchison now, has made his way. Actually, Jeff Hollingsworth, I think, just got around Wayne Hutchison for that 6th spot. That 97 Coast Guard truck starting to drive away.
Well, Wayne's had himself a good recovery here. You know, he turned around while he was running in the top 5. Got into the wall a bit, and unfortunately, it
Smoked the
was
tires right
in
there.
the backstretch chicane. So he had to wait for traffic to clear out before he could get himself out of that situation. He lost a ton of track position, a ton of time. Able to get himself back up into 7th. Not a bad recovery for Wayne Hutchison. Look at Matt Sisler now. He's chasing down the 16 of David Weaver. That is not for position, obviously.
We got Julian Ricci in the pits for some reason. I'm not sure what that is, but Julian is a few laps down now at this point. About 4 laps down, as a matter of fact. But he is in the pits here with only just a couple laps left to go. Take a look here at Wayne Hutchison trying to reel Jeff Hollingsworth in. But Jeff's kind of, once he got past him, just putting some distance on that 17 truck. This is a
So David Weaver might have had himself a poor turn 7.
Take a quick look at it here. I'm guessing it's going to be just like we've seen before, just the truck slowing down a little too much. It shows us as an incident. Oh, he's got Chad Stearns up along the inside of him. They're putting another lap on him.
Yeah, he got down to about 22. Well, white flag is in the air. We have had ourselves a phenomenal race. Great storylines. It has played out, I will say, as you would expect a NASCAR road race too. It gets a bit spread out, you know. There's minor incidents that don't warrant caution flags, and truth be told, like, outside of the 23 hitting the wall,
Nice view of the fence for
probably
you.
was the only thing worth throwing a yellow for in NASCAR. Jacob Jensen, he's going to work his final time through the infield road course, through turn 6, into the hard braking zone of turn number 7. He's going to remind us why he should be considered for champion of this series. He's gotten 3 wins at least. This is going to make 4, I believe.
It came in 3rd in the point standings. Brian Barnes, the leader of the points, in 4th. Wayne Hutchison 2nd, back in 7th right now. So if Jacob can stay, if everything finishes out the way they are, Jensen's going to not only take home his 4th win, but also going to make up some valuable points on those top 2.
It's right up next to the wall, entering the backstretch chicane. And now, in the famous words of Rick Allen, he goes through the final banked curve here at the Charlotte Roval. John Kenyon hops over the curb. Jacob Jensen is going to hop, skip, and jump his way into victory lane for the 4th time this season. He gets it done, this time at the Roval. And second place, Matt Sisler.
He's back there somewhere.
We'll find out in about 15 seconds.
There comes Matt Sisler up through the final chicane as well. Going to come home in 2nd. A nice showing here from Matt in his first start this season. Coming home in 2nd. Chad Stearns going to be there in 3rd in that 05.
I believe Jacob Jensen is already burning it down. Oh, Chad! He said he was going to go. Matt Sisler gets 3rd, Chad Stearns in... Matt Sisler is 2nd, Stearns in 3rd. Brian Barnes gets 4th, and then Shane Jensen, the first driver 1 lap down, comes home with the top 5, gains 8 spots on the day after starting in 13th. Had a lot to get through, too, like you mentioned. Had himself a couple of fender bender incidents, you know, beating and banging.
Yeah, great finish there from Shane. Come home in a 5th spot. Let's see if we can... I guess we've still got some drivers out there on the racetrack. David Weaver's here. Looks like everybody's crossed the line.
The downside of road racing is that we have to wait so long for the driver to come back around to the front stretch and burn it down.
Jacob Jensen. He's tires aren't quite wore out enough to make it the burnout easy for him there, but he's trying to lay down some smoke for the fans. Jacob Jensen with a win number 4, as you said.
At 4 of 12. That's something to be considered. 1 out of 3 times this guy shows up to the racetrack, he's going to win.
And Matt says they're going to come home in second. Chad Stearns already jumped into the pits. Let's see who we have in the waiting room here. All right, looks like Jacob's in the waiting room there for you, Liam. We'll bring him up here into the interview booth. He's kind of getting used to this here, but
Hey, Jacob, it's Liam and Chris up in the booth once again. How you doing?
Doing good.
Well, I tell you what, man, you have been putting together an incredible season, and so far you've got the clean sweep on road racing. What is it Kavu Performance? What is it that you guys are throwing together that gets you so strong week in and week out?
Well, we've had a lot of good luck, a lot of good fortunes. The rear end grip of this car usually stays pretty good throughout the races, so it's always nice to have that happen.
Yeah, you played the race pretty much perfectly. You waited until everybody behind you had made a pit stop before you came in. The lead was big enough as to where you didn't not lead a lap. So you come home leading 44 out of 44 in the Charlotte Roval. What does it mean to go wire to wire?
Oh, it means a lot. I've tried doing that a whole bunch of different times, and this is the first time I've been able to do it in this league, so it means quite a bit, and yeah, it was just super fun.
Well, you did a great job, but I think we've also got to shout out another great job. Shane Jensen came up in 5th place, gained 8 spots. How does it feel to have 2 of you guys up in the top 5?
Well, it's really nice that both of us could have clean, regular races. Usually something happens to at least one of us, and that's why we usually don't get up there. But I think that's going to be happening a lot more often.
Awesome stuff, man. I'm glad to hear that. And before we let you go, after your 4th win of the season, who helps you get it done? Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I want to thank the dear Lord. I want to thank my family. I want to thank my Uncle Leonard. I want to say congratulations to Shane Jensen on that great performance. I want to say thank you to all my friends. I want to say thank you to you guys. I want to say thanks to Bob, and I want to say thanks to the people at Apex Speed.
Well, awesome stuff, Jacob. We appreciate you joining us. And, well, we've got another race next week. You think you can go for number 5?
It'll be tough. Vegas is always really interesting, especially with the tire management that you'll have to do. So it'll be interesting.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you can get done. Jacob Jensen, 4th win on the season.
Thanks. Have a nice one.
all right, we have our second place finisher here, Matt. All right, Matt, we've been pronouncing your last name Sizzler all day long. Is that right?
That'll work. It's Sisler. But
Sisler?
I've been
that's
saying Sisler. I know you, Matt.
Thank you,
Sisler?
Liam. You're close. It's close enough. I will accept that.
All right, well, you got Chris Murphy here with Liam Irving, buddy. Hey, great run there tonight. Your first race for the Western States Racing League this season. Am I right on that?
That is correct. Yeah.
Well, good run there. You started back in 4th. You were able to run down Chad Stearns after that pit stop. Just a great battle there. Can you give us a little bit of insight to your fight there with Chad for that second position?
Yeah. I was faster towards the end of the run in the first half of the race, so I felt like we were, if we were on the same tires at the end, we were going to have a good shot to get our 3 birdies Tundra up after him and have a shot to take P2. But with this track, you never can be sure, just because there's so many pitfalls running around here. All it takes is one misstep and you're in the wall. So it was just trying to balance, attack versus defense. And I think you guys might have got it on the broadcast where I went 3 wide past a pair of trucks because Chad was right there. I felt like at that point, if I don't go for that move, I'm not going to catch Chad. And yeah, he was struggling out of the hairpin. I was just able to get the drive off and outbrake him down into the bus stop, and from there, just avoid making a mistake pretty much all the way home.
Yeah, both of you had the misfortune of catching the lap trucks of John Kenyon and Earl Weaver there just at the wrong time. But fortunately for you, you're able to get down the bottom up onto that banking and get by him a little bit quicker. And I think you're right. I think that made a huge difference right there in your ability to run Chad down there for that second position. So, but just a great run here tonight. It was a pleasure watching you come up through the front. We got Vegas. Are you going to be here for Vegas next week as well?
There's a possibility for sure that I will be. I was here tonight because another league's run didn't go great, and I saw you guys were on the Roval, and I went, I like the Roval. I'll give this a try. So, very glad that it all ended up working out tonight. So, Vegas, I like Vegas. Vegas isn't always kind to me, so we'll see next week. But if I do, it should be a lot of fun because these trucks like to drive really good around there.
Well, great run again tonight there, Matt. And before we get you out of here, you have anybody you'd like to give a thanks to?
Well, you guys, SRM doing the broadcast here. I can see you guys got some new graphics over on your broadcast. Guys, go check them out. Seriously, I don't know why I'm plugging you on your own broadcast. Go watch
We'll
it.
take it.
Because it looks really good. I see you guys got some new stuff since the last time I was here, so that's kudos to you guys. Obviously, my main sponsor, I couldn't do this without 3 Birdies Golf Company. They've got a ton of really nice apparel. Over at 3birdiesgolf.com, if you guys would go check them out. They still have free shipping, all orders over 100. So if you all want to go check them out, they got some nice t-shirts and hats and drink koozies and stuff like that. Celsius for the quick energy, my alma mater, Adrian College, on the B pillar. Peace, Love, and Paws Rescue out of Southeast Michigan, a great little animal rescue out here. And Bob and everybody at Western States for putting this on. It's been a while, but I was happy to be able to have a chance to come back and run, and had an absolute blast.
All right, good seeing you. Hope we see you again, Matt. Have yourself a good rest of the evening.
All right, sounds good. You guys as well.
All right, Liam, that is going to bring an end to week number 12. Let's see if we can bring up some results. It's going to be
Jacob Jensen gets the job done by 19.388 seconds over Matt Sisler, who made a phenomenal pass, a calculated smart move at the end over Chad Stearns, who also had himself an incredible run here. Found himself on the podium. Brian Barnes came home in 4th, the last driver on the lead lap, and Shane Jensen gets himself a top 5. Wayne Hutchison, your second place, or I believe second place in points coming in, gets one more spot, gets up to 6th. See what that does for him in the points. Jeff Wills, Jeff Hollingsworth, Earl Weaver, and John Kenyon round out your top 10.
Yeah, come on, 11. It's going to be David Weaver, Julian Ricci. We get these guys back here in the back. Just about everybody had some kind of an incident today. Not a great day for Julian Ricci. Struggled most of the day. Going to come home in 12th. 13th spot's going to be Bob Beltrami. Bob, incident on lap number 2 sent him to the pits for a long period of time. Never really could make it up. Comes home in 13th. Dustin Burns in 14th. Chris Walker, our only official DNF of the race. The top 14 all finished. And then from there on back, we have all the drivers that didn't start the race. Rob Gall, Paul Cremary, Ron Holenfield, William Fletcher, James Dewar, and Alan Bergen all decided not to take the green flag after practice. So that is going to finish up round number 12 for the Western States Racing League. And
yeah, that's
go ahead.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Contrary to what that graphic says, this is not Shane and Alan. This is Liam Irvig and Chris Murphy. We're going to sign off now, but want to say we appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And as you guys walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Have a good night, folks.